We're joined by Noah Lyles, American record holder in the 200, three-time world champion in that event, the reigning world champion of the 100, and of course, the first American to win the Olympic 100 meters since 2004. So, Noah, how you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
You did it. You did it, Noah. You're always going to be the 2024 Olympic 100-meter champion.
Nah, yeah, it's crazy to think about. Sometimes it'll hit me. Sometimes I'll just think it's a normal day, and then sometimes it'll hit me. I went to Complex Con yesterday, and I literally couldn't take like fewer than 3 steps without 7 people trying to take a picture with me, and where I thought I would just be walking around looking at cool, out of the box art and, fashion and shoes, turned into me just doing like a whole media shoot day. And I was like, okay, wow, yeah, this is not world championships. This is an Olympic title. This is an Olympic 100-meter title.
You've noticed it's a different level of fame now.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's very rare that I run into anybody that doesn't know who I am, or I can't make a reference to jog their memory and be like, oh yeah, you're that guy.
One of the things I'm sure that's raised your profile is being part of Sprint, and they just released the
Mhm.
second series. And one of the things, a lot of people seem to view you as a villain now because of this. And I'm wondering, like, I've covered your whole career. I didn't really think of you as a villain at all until this whole thing comes on, and now it's like you got a lot of haters out there. So, like, how do you feel about that portrayal?
Yeah, yeah, I noticed it after 2022. I knew this day was always going to come just because once you start winning too much, they want a new face. And in 2022, that became Arion. And then I beat Arion. And then after that, it was Letsile. And then, after that, I said, I don't want the 200 anymore. I want the 100. So now I'm coming after everybody else's title. And they're like, well, you're not a 100-meter runner. Like, why are you disrespecting the 100 by trying to show up? And then I win. And they're like, yeah, we don't like that. So it's just constantly, putting myself in situations where I'm like saying I'm going to win, and of course, the people are just like, well, you're just, you're cocky and boastful. And I'm like, but I'm doing it. I'm not saying anything I'm not doing. And I could see a lot of people, getting aggravated by that because, before it happens, it seems very boastful. And it seems, I'm very passionate about what I do. So if I say something, I'm going to put my 100% into it. But at the same time, just as many people as you see on Twitter, Twitter is such a small, small part of the world. It doesn't even, it's not even a billion people. There's 6 billion people in the world, and there's not even a billion people on social media. And here I have, so many other people that I meet every day. I've never really run into a situation in public where somebody has said, "Yeah, I don't like you." I've had some people who have said like, "Oh, yeah, you're not my taste, but I still respect you because you go out there and you put it down." Like that's the worst I've ever received in person. So yeah, the I feel like social media like clips just this, you know, small image of you, but to be honest, in person, it's completely different.
You put yourself out there. You were in the 200, sort of dominant in that event. You could
Mhm.
have stuck to that. Kind of got outside your lane and like, I'm going to win the 100, which is very bold. And also, but if you didn't win, you could have set yourself up. They could have been, oh, I told him he should have stayed where he was. But it's just amazing. Do you ever think about that decision, or it wasn't even a decision? You want to be the best, and that means going after the
Yeah,
100.
I knew I was always going to start running the 100. I did in high school, and I was New Balance champion, or New Balance national champion, coming out of high school, and I won World Juniors coming out of high school in 2016. So I knew that eventually I would get to the 100. I just, the way that me and my coach saw it for the first 3 to 4 years was one gold is stronger than two silvers. And if I was getting silver in either of those events, it wasn't worth it. So we had to make sure that I could at least secure a gold in one of those events. And it wasn't until we got to 2023 where we really started getting stronger in the weight room, and I was being able to handle a lot of the practices for the 100. So all, you know, the ideas and the structures that we were building up to was finally coming together. And then we were like, okay, if we can't get it in 2023, then we're gonna have to change something seriously. But we had a lot of faith that 2023 was gonna be the year where we really put our nose to the grind, practicing for the 100 instead of so much training so focusedly on the 200. Um, but overall, like so what? I lose, I come back next year. Just like this Olympics. Did I want to get COVID? Heck no. Uh, did I want to win? Definitely. But if I don't, I'm gonna come back again. But I would definitely. I don't think I could look at myself if I didn't try. And that's the thing that I think stops so many people. They don't want to try and fail. If you fail, like my mom says, that's just your first attempt at learning.
One of the other things you've done is while you're dominating the world, winning gold medals, you've also tried to grow the sport. You're trying to take it mainstream. You're trying to elevate it. How do you think you're
Mhm.
doing in that respect?
Uh, I've actually been going back and forth with that a lot this year. It's been really difficult because I've kind of started coming to realizations that I don't think the sport wants to change. Almost like they're very content where they are, and now I have to make the decision: do I go off on my lonesome and do my thing and hope that, maybe a few athletes come along, or, something, we make our own identity? Or do I just stay where it is and just say, hey, I'll just try to rack up as many medals as possible and just stay wherever track is? Um, I think a lot of people already know the answer to that. I'm not going to stay where I am. I'm always going to try and push the envelope. But of course, I got to keep the main thing the main thing. But I'd say I have a lot of big plans for 2025, and I really wish that I could share them right now, but I will say by the end of this month, by the end of the year for sure, a lot of them will be announced.
How'd you reach that conclusion? Like, were there people who disagreed with something you were doing or didn't want to get involved? Like, how did you reach this point?
It's just been a lot of conversations that I've been having with the higher chain of command. There's not as much organization as I thought there would be. There's also a situation where everybody is, or I'm not gonna say everybody. I've had conversations where I've offered up ideas that I've seen work in different scenarios, or that me and my agent have put together where we have proof that it works, and they're very hesitant to get involved with it. Or situations where it's like, hey, let's have a conversation about just the interaction with us as athletes in the governing body of some of the governing bodies that we work with in track and field, just to establish something. Let's try to be proactive and not reactive in situations. And a lot of the times where I ask for those conversations, they usually kind of fall on deaf's ear, or they end up being just kind of like, oh, we're just doing a favor for you type situations. And I don't think any athlete is here for just a favor. We want to be heard as athletes. We have ideas, and as the people who are running and bringing in the crowds, I think that we've earned that respect to be able to say that we might be onto something.
Well, I think one problem with the sport is there isn't like an overriding structure. It's everyone's kind of can do their own thing. It's loosely organized. It's outside of the Olympics. But you said it doesn't want to change. Well, there's the Grand Slam track next year. There's some change coming. But then you said you want to go off and do your own thing. Now it sounds like maybe you can't reveal what this stuff is, right? We'll just have to wait.
Yeah,
Or like, what do you think
unfortunately.
about Grand Slam track?
Uh, I mean, it's still in the same position as it has been all year until I see a TV sponsor. I can't make a decision because I'm not gaining anything, I should say. For a lot of athletes, it's a great opportunity. It's a really great opportunity. And I think that they are in a position where they can do a lot of different and nuanced things. Unfortunately for me, being the Olympic champion, I've already come in with a lot of accolades and a lot of things where I don't need monetary value, but I really need marketing value. And if a tree falls in the woods, did it fall or did it make a sound? So if I race and it's not seen, where's the marketing for it? So I can't. My first step is I have to make sure that whatever I do is seen.
You're one of a handful of guys that the money's not for it's not very good for you, but for everyone else, it's pretty good.
No, yeah, and that's why I think that it's a great opportunity for so many athletes, and I do believe that it will help a lot of them, and put a lot of athletes in a better scenario and situation than they've ever been. And I mean, potentially this, if they handle it right, has the potential to rock a lot of shoe contracts. Because if these athletes are making more money than their shoe contracts, then they get to go back, to their sponsor and say, hey, I don't really need you anymore. Because I could just run Grand Slam track and make more money and then decide what brand I want to wear just because I can go buy it. That's a very powerful position to be in, and it really sets the bar and makes a difference on what we can do.
Outside of these like structural changes or the big changes that we're going to hear about soon, like have you started thinking about 2025, the season, the goals, or have you just been enjoying being Olympic 100-meter champion?
No, yeah, I'm into season now. I've been training. We've been setting up. It's a very weird structure now that the World Championships are going to be at the end of September. I love that it's the last event of the year. I wish it was earlier, because it just kind of draws everything so far out. And I was a part of that team that went in 2019 to Doha in late September, early October, and I was not a fan of that time period. It's especially since we're not changing the indoor schedule, which I usually do perform in, and I've found that it helps a lot with my hundreds. It really changes the dynamic of how we do things, and I right now it's easier for me to be able to say, I'm just gonna wait it out or take it very slow and be patient with my training. That's what me and Lance have been talking about recently. Just not saying we're just gonna, it's not as rushed of a season. So maybe instead of doing blocks in December or January, we push it back to like late January, early February. A lot of things like that. That's how we've kind of been, going after it. But having World Championships in, back in Tokyo is a huge plus for me. I have a very strong crowd in Japan, and going off of that, I've been working with Adidas to make sure that we actually take advantage of that.
What's the update on your shoe? I know you wanted one after you won the Olympics. Are we getting a Noah Lyles shoe?
It is going well. The talks are going well. It might take a little longer than I preferably want, but it is in the process.
When you think ahead to 2025, you've had such success in the 100 the last 2 years. If I make you pick one, 2020, 2025 World 100-meter champion or 2025 World 200-meter champion?
100-meter
Do you
champion.
want your 100?
Nobody cares about the 200. I learned that very quickly after breaking the American record and losing the Mondo for Athlete of the Year. I was just like, they don't care. They don't care about the 200. I mean, it's fun to watch, but at the end of the day, nobody, and the common people don't, like non track and field athletes, they don't care about the 200. It's the 100. That's why when Bolt was, winding down, he stuck to the 100 because the 200 wasn't going to get him extra dough, And it's all about the 100. Everybody wants to know the fastest man in the world.
That's
So
true.
do you not feel unfinished business though in the 200, given the two bronzes at the Olympics with Tebogo? I mean, I know you won 100% in Paris, but
Oh, I definitely have unfinished business, but I'm not going to gain it through world championships. It's an Olympic title, 200 meters. That's where I'm gonna gain, that satisfaction of. Not to say that I don't want to win. I'm not giving up anything. I mean, you're still gonna have to beat me.
Were you impressed with what Letsile did in the 200 this year, like the end of a season? It
Uh,
may have not been quite Noah Lyles level, but it looked pretty close.
First of all, I'm not gonna say anything's Noah Lyles level. That's let's see level. He is his own human being, and he's running very fast, and he's showing that he's a 100 and a 200-meter runner. I mean, he already had a silver medal from World Championships of 23, and he had a bronze medal in the 200 from 23, and in 2023 he also ran 19.50. So it was only a matter of time before we start seeing him get faster and faster. And if anybody said they were shocked at the time that he ran, then you don't know track and field, or you never heard of him. So no, I'm not gonna say that I was shocked by his performances. I mean, he's already run faster times besides the Olympics. So seeing him run these times is like, yeah, like I expect him. I expect him to grow. I expect every athlete to grow, and I'm actually more shocked when people say that it's probably not going to happen when somebody's going to PR at a big championship. That's the more shocking thing.
All right, last thing, Noah, before we let you go. What's the update on the Tyreek Hill match race? Is this happening? Is it going to be on a track? What distance? What can you tell me?
That's one of those things that unfortunately I just can't say. It's one of the things that are working, the thing that I hope to be unveiling soon. I'll just say the talks are going very well. And if this goes to the level that we want it to, this is going to be a Mike Tyson, Jake Paul type event.
Okay. All right. That's definitely something to keep the track fans on their toes as we head into 2025. Again, thanks for joining us. World's fastest man, Noah Lyles. We'll see you on the track at some point in 2025, Noah.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.